So a warm welcome to Peace Ravenwood. Lovely to have you here.
Hello.
Hi. So just let us know what you're up to and what your plans are, and I'm all excited to hear.
Okay, so thank you for inviting me to share with you all today on rewilding and how we can embrace our natural rhythms and wild self to become much more resilient as humans and look at different ways of living our lives in these changing times. I live currently in Leyland. Andrea, is that near you?
Yeah.
Where are you two? Where are you two, Andrea?
I'm at Leyland.
No way.
Moss Side end of Leyland.
No.
Your neighbours.
We are neighbours. Yeah, we're just off Moss Side Way.
Oh right, well I'm on Older Close.
Oh right. Oh, this is hilarious, isn't it? We've got another Leyland girl, which is Gail. She's actually one of our community members. So it's lovely to have Gail join us today as well. So I'm actually on my phone, so I can only see 4 of you at once. So I apologise if anybody's waving and stuff. I can't see you. I can only see 4 of us. So. And I'm in the car and it's absolutely chucking it down today. I don't know if it is where you're at. I'd really hoped to have been sat under the oak tree as we were talking, but the oak tree is behind me. I just didn't want to get my phone wet. So yeah, we are looking to buy a farm or a small holding. Anything under 150 acres is considered a small holding pretty much. So, and there are 11 households, all of us coming together to rewild our own lives and create a resilient community. And that ripples out into the wider community as well. Once we are in our right alignment, it ripples out, doesn't it? Throughout all our actions and all our interactions with other people and the environment around us. Oh, thank you, Angela. Keep reading the messages. We're gonna have to save the chat, aren't we, at the end? If I can't do that on my phone, which is really annoying. I can only do it on the computer. So where we're at the minute is that it's a decade in the making, this plan that we're all bringing together. And the reason I can share that with you today is there's some tips and what have you that I would like to share with you about how we can become much more resilient because of the changes that we are witnessing and being part of, or apart from, whichever where we are with this current situation we're living through. And maybe some of them you'll be familiar with, the techniques and the activities. Maybe some are quite curious for you, so I'd love to hear back from you as we go through each one, to sort of see what you feel about each one that I'm suggesting as options to embrace for our lives as we move forwards. We're not going back to normal, and that's really clear. A lot of my work is quite radical, and it can push a lot of buttons with the way that I work. Those of you who've met me at events see the more fluffy side of what I do, if you know what I mean. It's like on the face of it, it's all chocolate, and the chocolate is just a gateway to the hidden realms of the unseen that we all walk and weave through every single day of our lives. And a lot of people, we're lucky in our spiritual communities that we are aware of a lot of these things. But a lot of people that maybe aren't on a similar path to us, a very spiritual path, might not be aware of them. And we can, as good guides through life, help each other find our way home. Okay. And one of the most important one that I'd like to talk about today is community. I felt that was the one to lead with today, is community. and strength in numbers. You know, what we're living through has divided us probably more than we ever thought it could, and the way forwards is to come back together in unity and find your community, find your tribe, the ones that you really feel resonant to spend a lot of time with, and rebuild your future the way that you want it, to look and to feel and how you want to live. And what's really clear is that as individuals or family units, you know, in our concrete boxes, we can't become resilient in an effective way with the times that we're facing at the minute. So broadening our community, extending our family, and inviting those in that have a very similar mind to ourselves, and coming together to live a happier and a much more beneficial, health-wise, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, communities where it's at. So I'm just going to hand it over to anybody that wants to say anything about how they feel about community and moving forwards.
I think what you're saying is absolutely right, and I think one thing that I have learned through lockdown piece is that connecting with a tribe is very much like coming home. It's on a spiritual, visceral level. It's on every level. That strong connection is there almost immediately, it makes you feel whole. Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, that's really lovely, Marianne. Thank you. I had to scroll through to see who was talking.
I think as well, Pace, with the people that we've got involved, we've got a fantastic range of skills and attributes that are just going to work so harmoniously.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, Angela, yes, of course, Angela.
Hi, yeah. So you say this fluffy chocolate side is like what you see. So getting down to the nitty gritty, what sort of can you tell me then? You know, as an individual, like, what would it mean for me to join your community in this place in Wales that you talk about?
Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, absolutely.
Give me the lowdown.
Okay. Well, Gail actually made my second point, which was going to be skill shares. So we could move on to that in a minute. But thanks, Gail. I think she's been reading over my shoulder this morning.
Damn you.
Yeah. I think there might be somebody else needing to come in. Elizabeth Ann. I don't know whether there's somebody asking to come into the meeting, Debs, but I'll have to switch my internet back on to be able to reply to her. What we were thinking was basically the emphasis on what we're doing is if we reach saturation point for people to join us at this particular farm, because obviously we're very mindful of traffic and footfall on the land. The whole point of us doing this is to give back more than we take. But what we're doing is, from the birth of what we're creating with the first Rewilding community, we're going to create a rolling fund of income streams that we place in a holding account with hopefully a good interest rate. And that money that we generate as a community and an extended community through our fundraising, etc., will then go into buying more land and more small holdings, which we will then be creating something similar to an ecological land cooperative. And that will help other people like us get access back onto the land and create their own low impact, small holding way of being. So you know, if at some point, you know, well, we will be lucky enough to buy a farm. It all depends on how many acres we are able to protect with this particular small holding. We're just looking at 75 acres at the minute. And that is actually huge. I mean, if you can just envisage how massive that is. And the idea would be then to invite people that want to, say, have 5 acres of that, 10 acres, 3 acres, you know, nothing too small, or else you can't make a living off that land. You have to prove that you can meet at least 35% of your basic needs, preferentially 80% of your basic needs, without having to go out and work on another job. So it's not for the faint-hearted. You have to have the ability to plan and submit a planning application to One Planet Development.
Okay.
But we have one of the best people on board to do that, which is Tao Wimbush, the founder of Lamas Eco Village, which we're not going to be moving a million miles away from. He's our planning consultant, basically. So there is possibilities to discuss that, Angela. We just need to sort of find the land first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what a huge commitment, and you know, am I up to it? You know, that's what I'd ask myself. You know, this question. Yeah, certainly. But
Yeah.
it's food for thought, definitely. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're very welcome. So number 2, unless anybody else wants to ask a question.
Anybody else got any questions for Peace?
May I, on the skill set from the 11 households that you've got that's going into the community, what skill sets are there?
Okay. Oh, can you hear me all right? Because it's absolutely fucking
Nigger rain.
Yeah.
I'm telling yeah, I have to get used to this moving to Wales because it's an half wet day. Like you. The skill set ranges from caregivers for mental health, because we have you know, we have a couple of members that have mental health issues. We also have disabilities, so we are non-exclusory, if that's the right word. And we are carers, so carers is our number 1 skill set, and educators is probably really right high up there. We're all into sharing our knowledge that we've all gained over our lifetimes. A lot of us have lived outside before. My husband and I are one of them. Elizabeth Ann and her family are also camp dwellers, and they home ed their 4 children. So the youngest member of our extended tribe is 4, and I think the eldest could be 70. So we have like 4 generations within the community, which is epic, really. We've got builders, we've got solar engineers, we've got permaculturists, we've got people that have had livestock before. We're not a vegan community, we are a regenerative farming community. We know the importance of ruminant animals on the land for health and well-being, all around, for every aspect of living and breathing on this planet requires our interaction with the land and the animals on the land. And everything in between, really. We've got seamstresses, we've got craft workers, we've got fleece processors. You know, I've had my own animals before and been present, birth, life and dispatch. You know, so we've got a huge range of skills.
Therapists as well, Peace.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. We're pretty much all therapists.
Yeah.
Oh, Gail wanted to ask you. Oh, Angela, sorry. Have you? No, I think you answered Angela's question, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, exploratively, yes. Okay. Because it's all out there at the minute. It's like, what can we create as a community? You know, beforehand we were like feeling very alone and we can't do this on our own. Now it's like there's people lining up to do this, and that's amazing. One thing that we've realized, I think, during COVID is the need to go back to nature. You know, that pretty much is vital, absolutely vital. Yes, you can, Angela. You come and stay in a tent with us. So when we're looking at returning back to nature, I mean, most of my work is deep in the forest. It's very, very challenging, the work that I invite you to partake of, because a lot of it's held in silence. So one of my points is become fluent in silence. Because when we're chopsing and we're busy and our minds are active, we can't hear. And we can't hear what we can't see, because a lot of the work is about working with the unseen, you know, what we don't notice first off. And when we drop down into silence, then it's a cacophony of awareness that we are engaging in. You know, when we're observing in silence, and when we allow ourselves to be observed. And these are exercises that I do through the rewilding process. You know, it's how to be observed, and you feel quite uncomfortable when you allow nature to observe you. It's quite an eerie feeling, because we go through life looking at everything, looking at what we think is everything, and actually noticing not much, if that makes sense. Yeah. So going back to nature, going back to looking at how we can rewild ourselves, because the land will do it itself. You know, we don't necessarily need to rewild the land, although that is massive on our list of things to do. Is plant more broadly forest and allow nature to take hold again, and allow the animals to be wild. So the livestock that we are going to have will rewild on the land, and we will just observe and guardian those animals in a gentle way with limited interference. But very old world interference, where we are able to be part of the animals' day-to-day wanderings, if you will, you know, hence wanting more land than less land. You know, we could do it on 5 acres, but it wouldn't sustain 11 households. There's just no way. And an interesting fact, I don't know if you're aware of it, our birthright as sovereign beings is to have access to 1 acre of land per person to thrive on and gain all our needs from. And that goes way back to the Charter of the Forest. I don't know if anybody's heard of that. Yeah. Okay. So this is a very ancient, pre-feudal peasant access to the land. And unfortunately now we are the 1%, or we are the 99%, aren't we? And the 1% have all the land, and the 99% are poorer for it, because we are not allowed to have our birthright. So by becoming more sovereign, which is all part of what we're discussing today, is taking back that which is our birthright in a gentle way, by standing up for what is rightfully ours, you know. And that can look different for all of us depending on where we are. And why we want to have a rolling fund to buy more land is so that we can return that land to ourselves as sovereign beings for our livelihoods and our personal needs to be met. Okay.
Brilliant.
Yes, Jennifer.
Jennifer.
You're very knowledgeable piece. I'm just, you know, I can understand the generation that we are at the moment, wanting that and thriving and living that life. I'm wondering then what happens, say, with the 3rd generation of that, where you've got somebody that doesn't believe in that and has, you know, what do you do with that person? Because I've been there and done that with my ancestors. You know, they were, and I know it was different because it was a religious group, but they set up their community. They had everybody that could do the tasks and do the jobs. But once somebody didn't agree with some of the religious beliefs, it was, sorry, you're out. And my poor uncle, when I was only a tiny child, he was not allowed to eat with the family. He sat in the kitchen, and the minute he was 18, he was out of the house because he didn't believe their ways, and he was gone. And it was sad because in his 40s he committed suicide, and mum's sister committed suicide, and that was just devastating the whole family. And it's only really through all this spiritual awakening and the roots of life that I've been, brave enough to actually re-look at that and think, gosh, that was the beginning of my childhood. How did my mum and my dad cope without their relatives? They made a decision for our sake that actually they were being preached a lot of nonsense, which is rules. But what you're saying is, I can hear it, and I can believe that way back with the ancestors, they would have set it up thinking, this is going to be amazing, we'll all work together, we'll do this, and they had all the different skills and everything. It only takes one person, like Hitler, to come in and start dictating and ruling and saying, I'm making these rules and I'm taking over, that destroys it.
Yeah, it is a big thing, and it's going to happen whenever we come together, even in a family unit. There's always disagreements, like you say, isn't there? So it is something that we're very mindful of as coming together as community. And I think a lot of us have known each other for quite a while from Facebook and interacting over the years with Facebook, but some of us are new to sort of spending time with each other. And there are new people wanting to, they're inquiring, like Angela's just inquired, this morning, and about looking at the possibility of being involved in some way with the community. And my first instinct is I'll just allow myself just to open and expand to all that. And what we're kind of fostering within ourselves as a community is to do the same, is like to embrace each other, practice some form of unconditional acceptance of all our quirks and our weirdness and our little foibles and all that kind of thing. Because I feel that the only way to be successful as a community or a tribe is to go right back, look at the true tribal culture, look at the Indonesians, the Ecuadorians, the Peruvians, the ones that live in the jungle now and have always lived in the jungle. They just get on with life in a much more different way. Everybody is different within that group. Everybody is embraced and celebrated, even when they're having a hard time, And I think something that I've worked on over the years with my own personal exploration as a spiritual being having a human experience is it starts here and it ends here. We are responsible for this vessel and this being inside this vessel, and the way we communicate with each other as a group where we're living in community is vital. Once we accept that the actions of another person, we either react to that or we respond to it, and they're really different. Reaction is usually the split thing that comes up, which will be the fire, whereas a response is really backing off, silence, going into the self and going, okay, so what triggered me about what that person said, did, etc., etc. And clear communication. I think that's what something is we're really going to work on as a community. And that can be transcribed into any community situation, whether it's in our family, in our spousal relationships, children, everything. It's up to this person, this human, this soul, how we respond to outside stimulus, isn't it? So, and we don't have a religion. We don't. Religion, unfortunately, as we all know, is quite challenging. To put it mildly, we have a belief and a faith that we all follow our individual faith is our individual faith, and nobody's going to tell you you should think a certain way. I mean, that's where we've all gone wrong, I think, isn't it? Telling each other what we should and shouldn't be doing. Self-governance is what sovereignty is all about.
And it's respecting each other's thoughts and processes as well.
Yeah.
You know, we are individuals. We do have free choice, but you've also got a duty to respect each other as well. And I think the idea, certainly for me, I've got an autistic 24-year-old lad, and he does need space every now and again. So there will be those facilities to just get out there and just unwind, settle. You know, and there's nothing that can't be worked through. As I often say to my kids, every puzzle has a solution. You just got to find it.
Absolutely, totally. It's finding where you want to fit and
Yeah.
how you want to be around other people, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
a non-judgment. Well, I know we all judge. We can't help it. That's the human side of life. But it's what we do with that thought process. I don't like to use the word judging, actually. I like to use the thought process that we're having. And if we can, again, become fluent in silence, we can take ourselves into a space we want to nurture ourselves in while we're going through a difficult time.
Has anybody else got any questions for Peace? Because obviously we've only got another 10 minutes before we wrap it up.
Wow, it's gone quick, hasn't it?
It's gone quick.
Yeah. Yeah, anybody else?
Anybody else? Angela's put, I'm loving the idea of this way of life, but naive about the working on the land and not experienced with animals, except for looking after a cat or dog for people when the owners go away.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's huge. You know, anybody can go and live in the country, but when we are wishing to become much more self-reliant and also interact in the wider community, and not just become another expat that's moved in and bought up a farm and, you know, all that kind of thing, it doesn't go down well, especially in Wales. You know, I mean, I'm lucky that I was born on Anglesey, so my Welsh heritage, I've got to prove it though. They don't believe you. It is a big thing. Obviously, having no experience of living on the land, the way forward is to start skilling up, because one of the points, I'll whiz through a couple of the other points that I've made notes on, is go and learn about how to grow stuff. Go and do a permaculture course. You know, permaculture is an amalgamation, voluntary work for sure, amalgamation of permanent and culture, so permaculture, and that is where self-resilience really comes into its height of amazing ability to create a community that will withstand everything. That's where it was coined in the 70s by an Australian, Bill Mollison, who, as you know, we're designing settlements, human settlements that are autonomous and require minimum input from outside. So you don't need to be relying on online shopping, going out to the store all the time. You know, you're producing everything from that land or that place that you live, but it also starts here. You know, permaculture is an amazing tool to go and learn. You can do a weekend one, which is introduction, or you can do a full design course, which is usually done over 2 weeks. We as a group are going to go on the land course, which is even bigger than just permaculture. It covers soil ecology, it covers, you know, village and town habitations and how you can become resilient in a town or a city as well by working together as a community of neighbourhoods and all that. So go and book yourselves on a permaculture course. Okay.
Where is that when you were just talking about this, about the land and more, the one you just talked about a minute ago, the last sentence, you're going on some sort of course that...
Land course, yeah, it's called the land course.
Yeah, where is that?
And they're actually doing it online now.
Oh,
It used to be where you went and did all the modules, about 4 modules in it.
right.
Permaculture design course is part of the land course, but you can do it online. And I think if you ask for a concession, it costs £700.
Yeah.
That's the,
Things online, to be honest.
sorry, I can't hear you.
Online is getting a bit tedious, you know. I'd rather be there with people doing things, you know, hands-on and, you know, interacting, you know.
Yeah,
but-
yeah. Yeah, well, one of the first things we're actually going to run on the land is a permaculture design course.
There you go.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
Right,
Yeah.
keep me informed about that then, please.
You certainly will, yes. I'll give you the website at the end so that you can
Okay.
email us through the website and everything and see the news.
Yeah.
There's a few other things that I want to introduce you to very quickly. I think one of the most important activities you can do every single day, even when it's raining like this, is first thing in the morning, as the sun is rising, get up, go out barefoot in your jammies, or your nightie, dressing gown, whatever, with your cup of coffee, and get your bare feet onto the grass and face the rising sun as it's coming up over the horizon, or your horizon, whether that's roofs or hills, wherever you to, and just do a little bit of sun gazing to refresh the eyes, because a lot of us are on screens a lot and this debilitates the eyesight and it stops feeding the optic nerves and then down into through the body. So we're doing 2 activities. We're sun gazing and we're earthing by having our bare feet on the soil, on the grass. And a third thing to bring in here is greeting the day by washing your face and arms in the dew. So vital. This is all part of the rewilding process and becoming much more connected with your natural environment. So I know that we're being recorded, so that's really great. You can dip back into this time and time again. So I've covered those. Skill sharing is where it's at, ladies. You know, share our skills with each other, and whilst we're doing that, we're uplifting and bolstering our own immune systems by learning new things and by coming together in community. Number one thing to do right now is concentrate on building the immune system to be really strong. I think we can all agree with that, and that's not what's being shown in the media. You know, the media is unfortunately all about wearing masks and sanitizing your hands. 2 things that depress your immune system like this: getting out on the land, sun gazing, bathing in the morning dew, uplifting each other. Eating locally is super important as well. A lot of us eat a lot of imported produce and products, and we forget to support the local economy and our local producers. So that's really more vital than any other thing that you can do food-wise, is to eat what you can grow and find locally. So up in the lakes is amazing. You've got access to all the lovely land-based produce up there. It's wonderful. So, and then you won't need to supplement either. Yeah, Angela, Ayurvedic, yes, absolutely. Yeah, totally. And going to bed at sunset leads me on to another point of screen time. Also depresses our immune system somewhat. So if you can reduce your screen time significantly, and also if you can't, invest in a pair of blue blocker glasses to filter out the blue light from your screens. And it's well worth it. They are quite expensive, some of them, especially if you're wearing prescription readers and stuff. But you can give them your prescription and they will create blue blocking glasses to suit your prescriptive. Okay. And I think OcuShield is a company that do shields for the screen, so you can put one on your phone, on your tablet, and on your PC screen. OcuShield. I see the advert on Facebook all the time at the minute. So learning to forage is also really, really important. Anybody here forage?
Never.
Never? Who's that? Who's that? I can't see you.
Angela. No.
Angela. Okay.
No.
Okay. Right. So yeah, foraging is super important to do. And it's not just for food. I mean, I forage for medicines, you know, and if we can learn to make our own herbal medicines from the wild plants, you know, that is really, really good to do. And there's a lot of ways you can learn that online as well. You know, contact a lady called Edwina Staniforth, who is a medical herbalist. She's based over in Bury, and she does online courses, and she also is starting out some socially distanced herb walks again over Bolton and Bury Way. And she's an amazing herbalist. She's one of the herbalists that was always at Preston New Road fracking encampment, giving medical herbalism to the land protectors there, and still does. So, or you can come and travel and come and forage with me down here in down near Leyland. I'm always foraging. Yeah, because Angela, you're in Kettering, so you're a bit far to come and join me for a forage, but you know, hey ho, I can probably, you know, help you out a bit. You could join. Yeah. And to finish it up, play is so important. Our tribal elders would play for 6 to 8 hours a day, you know, sitting around playing, you know, games in the dirt, you know, playing hide and seek, all sorts of fun things to do. I think we've forgotten how to play because we're so busy trying to live our lives, and having fun is a massive immune booster. Laughter and joyfulness and not getting bogged down with all what the media is throwing at us, super important. Just turn your tellies off, turn the radio off, and get out there and live your life to your best ability to do so. Yeah, don't pick the mushrooms, they'll kill you. I know the deadly ones. Stick with me, kid, when the apocalypse hits. I'm serious. I said I'm hardcore. And one thing, a lot of us probably are thinking, oh, I need to go to the gym and all that kind of thing. No, get out in nature, save the money on your gym subscription, and get out in nature and use your body the way our ancestors used to do. Do lots of squatting down low on the ground, rooting around in all the undergrowth, go and climb trees or jump over logs. Use what's in your garden to exercise, you know. We can do that without having a hefty gym subscription, and then spend that money on saving up to come and stay and do some courses and things, whichever courses you want to do. And a good thing to do once a week is lift something heavy for a few minutes. That's the ancestral way, is none of this, you know, working out solid in the gym every single day, looking at a screen when you should be outside. Why are we going to gyms when the gym is outside in the fresh air, which boosts our immune system? You don't need to wear a mask to go out in the fresh air. But you don't need to wear a mask anyway. You know, I have some opinions that might not resonate with some people, but you know, it's all about being immune and becoming more wild again, instead of domesticated and used to our concrete boxes that encapsulate our entire lives. So I'll whiz through that last bit. Questions?
Any questions for Peace before we wrap up, please?
Oh, I can open my door now. Sun's come out.
Oh, it's raining here hard.
Oh
now.
no.
It's moved up further up here, up north.
Oh gosh. Right, Andrea, you want to come foraging with me? Of course you can. Yeah, absolutely. I'm at Rufford at the minute, getting your car last.
Yes, what's your website, please, Peace?
Oh yeah. Okay, so for the community, for the farming community, it is info@.
Is this an email?
Rewilding. Sorry. Yeah. Never mind. www.rewildingretreat.org.
Retreat.
Yeah. Can you type that into the chat, Des?
Yeah, I'm doing, yeah.
Your is.
There we go.
Yeah. So our first crowdfunder finished yesterday. So my job now is to get the second one rolling, and it's going to be the tree fund. So we're going to be raising. I need to find out how many 30,000 trees are going to cost. From the Forestry Commission or wherever we can get them.
Why don't you try Woodland Trust?
Yeah, wherever I don't know where I need to go yet. I've never done this kind of thing before. I'm making it up as I go along with the trees thing. But we want to plant probably 20 acres of broadleaf woodland. So that's a lot of trees, which is going to be that's a legacy for the future.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, and we'll probably plant as much land down to forest garden as well, so that all be the edibles and medicinal trees, bushes, undercover, ground cover, that kind of thing. And there'll be yurts placed within the forest garden for people to come and stay, so you can literally eat your way around the land eventually.
It sounds fabulous, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'd love to sort of, when you see the amount of people that are interested in this kind of thing, we literally could all come together, buy a stately home that's got like 30 bedrooms in it and 500-600 acres of land, and we'd all be able to go off and build our own little dwellings around the land and stuff. And then they would have a big house that some of us could live in as well, for the ones that, don't want to live outside. There's that end of the scale, isn't there? When you really look at what you can do as a community, there's nothing there's nothing impossible at all.
And everybody brings something, even if you don't know about permaculture or crafting skills, you can be the one that can help families, with the kids, or doing some baking and cleaning, or everybody has something to contribute. It's not a case of you've got to have a skill. Just living and being is a skill. And use that within the community.
Absolutely, yeah. That's why I like to be non-exclusory. Is that the right word?
Non-discriminatory.
That's the one. Thank you, Gail. You're such a star. Yeah, I don't know the right language sometimes. I'm much more fluent in silence than I am with constantly talking. So you have got things to offer, Angela. Of course you have. Everybody has. Everybody is vitally important in our community. There's the midwives. There's the caregivers. Like I said, is number one. We're all caregivers. We all need care, and we all love caring for each other. And that's probably the most important skill, is to know how to care for each other, and how to care for yourself as well, because a lot of us are not very good at that. We're not good at saying, I need me time, or I need help with something, all that kind of thing. Yeah, radical self-care, Angela. It's becoming ninja self-care really at the minute. Stealth care. This is it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's an amazing piece. I'm sorry to bring it to a close, because I know people have got things to do, and Jennifer's off for her 29th wedding anniversary, and I'm sure but that was great, thank you. And I really hope that this will be not so long off that you get this place.
Well, this is it. I mean,
keep us informed and let us know if we can help in any way.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, all involvement is good. We need all the involvement we can, because when it comes down to it, we want to help other people do what we're doing. And that's what's driving me forward, is if we can do it, we can help others do it.
Yeah.
By providing the skill sets needed, and the encouragement needed to do that, and also the money needed as well with the rolling fund and everything. So if anybody knows how to create a rolling fund and all those little bits, that would be great, because there's things that we don't know, as a group. We're learning all the time.
Yeah,
and the more of us that want to do this, the better our future will be.
Yeah, it will.
Really.
Definitely. And
Yeah,
for
and you can do it.
And it's for
Do it in the
future,
town, villages.
it's for
Sorry.
future generations as well, isn't it? As much as possible.
Yeah.
You know, that's who I feel for.
Yeah, absolutely. It's leaving a legacy for them, leaving the planet in a state that they are not going to go, oh my God, we have no life. We can't even breathe the air.
Yeah,
you know?
it's frightening.
Yeah, can you hear that buzzard?
Yes. Oh, bless.
Oh,
Well,
thank you.
Well, you're definitely in nature there, Peace, aren't you? Yeah, thank you, Peace. And I'll put your details when I upload the YouTube channel and your website. And anything that you want to share about, you know, getting donations, just let me know and I can share them as well.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, it's fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I hope.
And what we're also doing so much behind the scenes, you've no idea. So anybody that wants to be involved, just send us an email or send us a message, and we will find the solution to be, you know, for you to be part of this in some form or another. You know, even if it's just to come and plant some trees, but you know, that's something that is going to be ongoing for years and years and years. Is planting trees, you know, and there's lots of other things like paying things forward for yourselves, so you can come on holiday every year, just like you do for a Christmas hamper. You can save up, you know, and send X amount per month to secure a holiday space for you, whether it's in a tent or in a yurt, you know, that kind of thing. So lots going on, lots of ideas floating around for helping people get involved and get some wild back, you know.
Definitely. Yes, I think we'll all be there. This time next year,
Yay!
Peace, we'll be there in one of your yurts.
Absolutely.
Yes,
we can all have a nice festival together, can't we? Like you suggested at the beginning.
Yeah,
let's talk about that. Let's make it happen. Yeah.
So I'm going to just stop.
Awesome.
Okay. Thank you very much, Peace. That's amazing. Thank you. Brilliant.
Thank you.